Hello, 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 and welcome to the first episode of Wild Women Talking. I am Gina Dallison, and this is my co-host,
Holly Haag. Hello, we're so excited for you to be here with us.
We certainly are, and if you followed any of our stuff, you'll probably know some of our stories, and if you don't, then go follow us and find out some of our stories. But our journeys have been an interesting one, and as is everybody's, I guess. And tonight I'm just really excited to talk to Holly, because Holly is one of the coveted people that I really get inspired to be and look up to and love to follow, because Holly is a symptom freer. Are you not?
I am a symptom freer.
I just love that's my expression for anybody that has been diagnosed and has suffered from some of the symptoms of multiple sclerosis and is now no longer suffering. They may be still be living with MS in some realms, but you're living with it in a more harmonic way than certainly I am currently, definitely.
Well, and in my belief, your body can heal. So my last MRI, my body was healing. So my lesions were going away. I had 3 left out of all the lesions I had. And they were shrinking. So in my belief, you can heal.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I also believe that, but I think I've been suggested recently to dig down into that core belief. So I do believe that you can heal, but I think I've got a bit of a stuckness somewhere on my belief that I can heal.
Oh, yes. Yep. Yeah. And that is so beautiful to realize that you have a stuckness, because I never view those as negative things like I would have before. Like, oh no, I'm stuck. You get down on yourself.
Instead, maybe we could put it a different way. Hey, I'm stuck. That means there's more to learn. That's mean we're having this conversation. That means that there is actually more to learn, because if there wasn't, I would have learned it by now and I would have moved on to the next thing. So
yeah. Well, and that's the beauty in it. It's each part for me has been like, oh, I need to look into that, or oh, I need to work on that. And it's really been never ending, but which, when you're not feeling well might seem exhausting, but when you start to heal, it's exciting. It's like, oh, I get to learn about that. It's not this woe is me. We're in the beginning, it's like, oh, okay, well, I got rid of the mercury, that wasn't it.
Well, this is it. Yeah, I changed the diet, that wasn't it. I looked at the parasites, that was exactly. And I think the work that you do and the work that I do, and all of everybody really in our community is doing the similar thing, is just suggesting that actually it is possible. And it is, if it's possible for Holly and it's possible for Matt Rowe and it's possible for hundreds of other people that we've met, then what makes me special that it wouldn't be possible for me? And it is the belief, and it is that intuitive journey, and that's what we're here to talk about this evening specifically, isn't it, Holly? The idea that actually we have the answers inside ourselves. I think when I first discovered that it was possible to live symptom free without a myriad of medication, it was really exciting. But then I started looking into it more and got really overwhelmed with, there's no one size fits all. There's no one diet that works for everybody. There's no one protocol that seems to, that we have to follow our own path. We have to discover our own journey. And that's intuition, I guess.
Yeah, and Gina, I think it's absolutely such a beautiful, worthwhile journey to go on, because I didn't know at the time I needed a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. to get me to move forward, because I personally was stuck. I was stuck. I was stuck in depression. I was stuck with all my hundreds of my long list of symptoms. I was stuck. So getting that diagnosis made me move forward. It made me take a step that I wasn't taking before. So with intuition, with what we're talking about today, we all have innate wisdom within us. We all do. And what happens is, different parts of the body get clogged. Like you said, you had a piece that's stuck. And so then if we then pile on top of that one piece that's stuck, because we're going to ignore it at the moment, we're going to, I don't got time for that today. I don't got time for that.
Living, yes.
Yes. So then you get another piece that's stuck, and another piece and another piece. And then you have this big blanket over your intuition, and you think, well, I don't have that. They have that, but I don't have that. And the truth is, we all have it. We all have it. It's cleaning up the body. It's cleaning up our energy field. There's lots and lots of books on energy, and understanding how that energy moves within us and how we are supposed to be communicating. It's our way to communicate with the outside world, but it's just as much our way to communicate within us. So it's definitely needs to be on the list if you're trying to heal your body, growing your intuition.
I think, and even I'm going to just challenge you a little bit on the language as well around trying to heal, because that feels like, yeah, we're pushing in this trying to heal, whereas actually maybe and I'm just playing with this idea with myself now, really, the idea that I've got, a set of symptoms, shall we say, which has been labeled with multiple sclerosis,
right? That
is, I don't want to say forcing, that's not quite the right word, but encouraging me to develop this intuition, this part of me which is listening and learning to communicate with the messages that have been hidden, I guess. Yeah. Hidden because we hide them, don't we? You said to think about things getting stuck, but if our diet is poor and it's not clean, that will clog it up. If we've been overusing pharmaceutical medications, that will clog it up. If we're in a toxic environment and saying toxic things to ourselves, that will clog it up. So this has been a journey for me about cleaning up my world, I guess.
You're everything. Yeah, you're everything. Well, and I love that you challenged me, Gina, because it is so true. I just finished a live on my Facebook page, Quick 5 with Hall, on energy. So most of us are familiar with the snowflake study or the water study or the plant study, one of the studies where you talk negatively to one and then, or one glass of water or plant or snowflake, and then you talk kindly to the other set, right? And they both reacted. So the water, the plant, the snowflake, they all reacted to the negativity. They all also, the other side, reacted to the positivity. Well, when we think about this, we are mostly made out of water, right? So if we know water reacts, which I think it's even deeper than that, I think it's the microbes within the water and the snowflake and the plant are reacting to this energy. How we talk to ourselves, how we even think to ourselves matters. So exactly like what you challenged me on. Yeah. Instead of saying, trying, say, I am healing. Say, I am healing. I am healing, or I am healed, or I am healthy, even if it doesn't feel true, because the brain all's what it knows is what it's being told. So if we say we're trying, the brain knows we're not healed yet.
Yeah, we're always going to be trying. And the subconscious, of course, we're programming our subconscious, because our subconscious believes not only what we tell it, but what we feel. I've been learning a lot about feelings, and that was one of the things I put in the group, that actually, do you think that our intuition can be, or our ability to connect with our intuition, and actually, babe, before we go any further, do you think it's worth just establishing what we think intuition is? Because for me, I would say intuition is, you talked about having an innate knowing. It's tapping into the connection that is, I want to say God, but it's, the source energy, the infinite wisdom that I think we've all got within us, because we are all connected. And the intuition is that piece that connects us all and allows us to communicate.
Exactly, Gina. I think very similarly to you, that intuition is, for all of you that are familiar with the movie The Sixth Sense, I believe it is another sense that we have, and it is our way to connect to your God source, to what made us, to the people that are, like your neighbor, to the lady in the grocery store that's crying, to the little boy that's lost and you feel his fear. That you're drawn to him because you know that he is fearful, so you know and understand that he is alone, or he's lost, or something happened. So there's this sense within us that we all have, that we know, we have this knowing that does sort of churn in the gut, right? And I follow a lot of people, and the microbiologists I follow, they just found the psychobiotic, which is this microbe that travels from the stomach to the mind, that affects the wavelength of the brain. And it's crazy to me, because then when you think about me communicating with you here, when I'm in the United States, you're in the United Kingdom, and yet we can still, sense each other's energy. We can still tap into that, and you're so far away. And you think, well, how? Because if it was just microbes, how can they sense you when you're that far away? So it's this energy that connects us all. It's the energy that the trees have, that the ground has, that the living life around us has. And so when we're connected with that, we're very much not just connected with our species, with our humans, we're then connected with the plants, with the bugs, with the animals around us. I just recently had a stray kitten that I thought was a bobcat. It wasn't.
Oh, wow. And it wasn't, because last time we spoke, you thought it was a bobcat.
It was not. It was just missing a tail. So I thought, I always think it's a bobcat. It might as well just be everybody's inside joke for me now, because but she trusted my energy and trusted me being this wild animal with her little babies. She had all these kittens that she was looking for a safe place to have her kittens, and it was at my house. So now we have all these little kittens.
Oh, wow,
and,
cute.
And she gave them to me to hold right after she had them. And I thought, what wild animal ever does this? No wild animal does this. And I knew right then and there, I'm like, it's my energy. It's my energy. She knows I'm safe.
Yeah. Cool.
She knows I'm safe. So it's beyond us. And when we understand how it works, and we start to feel it, it's not even something we really have to learn. You can buy books on it. You can listen to us and talk about it.
Well, I think it's not necessarily learning, isn't it? It's remembering. because I think we all, like you said, we've all got it, but we've been maybe taught to ignore it.
Yes. Yep.
Told, not to listen to ourselves. We've got to do what we're told and go to the school and do the, conform. And if our intuition is telling us no, then we wonder why there's a lot of miserable people on the planet, really.
Yes. There's actually, tapping into that, there was a study done where this study's been done in numerous ways and numerous times. But the one I'm going to refer to, there is this teacher. He put a goldfish bowl in the middle of the class. The students came in, they were older students, I think in high school. All the desks were facing this fishbowl. He left the room and told them that they would fail if they touched the fish. He then proceeded to take the fish and put it on the table out of the water. And none of them were getting up. And so this was showing how we are taught and trained to ignore our intuitive instinct to go grab that fish and put it back and save its life. So finally, one of the students said, forget this. The fish is suffering. Grab the fish, put it back in the bowl. The teacher comes back in and says, congratulations. You guys how sad for all of you that didn't help the fish. You've all been conformed. You've all ignored your instincts.
And your instincts to actually
save the life.
Compassion and wow.
And it was so powerful, even though I know what study he based this off of. It was so powerful that this teacher decided. Yeah. And I thought, how true is that? Because we're taught over and over again to just suppress, and then we're listening to our parents, our grandparents, our teachers.
That also reminds me of something I saw as well, where kids that watch like violent movies or violent get desensitized and are less compassionate. And they did a study, I think, where they had some kids watching some violent stuff and some kids watching some nice stuff, and then something as simple as they were talking to the teacher and the pens fell off onto the floor, and the ones that had been watching the nice stuff went to pick the pens up, and the ones that didn't. So it was only a simple little test, but it just goes to demonstrate really how we can desensitize ourselves into helping others by what we watch and how we surround ourselves, our environment. And if we're if we're spending a lot of our time watching frightening things and watching the news and getting hooked into all the terror that's going on in the world, could be going on in the world at large, then
and then look at the children that now, like Xbox and PlayStation are so popular now, or now your phone. Every kid has a phone, so they're playing games, and then they're not only are they watching it, they're interacting as if they're physically attacking other people in these games, or they're so then they're not only being desensitized in a way that they're watching, they're physically connected as if it's them performing these acts.
actually doing the things. So that brings me on to the question I was going to ask before we sort of established what intuition was. But do you think that actually how our emotional state affects our ability to connect with our intuition?
I think they're very much connected. So I know emotions enhance any part of your intuition. So say, in fact, I did a TikTok on this today. I got all prepared for today. So I did a TikTok explaining how, like, if say there's a woman that is fertile and there's a man that's fertile, but they're both married to separate people, but then they meet and there's this intense just magnetic attraction, right? And then they get to know each other a little bit, maybe because, they pass each other by or whatever. And then there's emotions that develop. That makes that then very dangerous because it enhances that intuitive togetherness.
Yes.
So, and with intuition, sometimes it just simply does not make sense. But I have always pretty much followed my intuition. Even before I knew I had multiple sclerosis, had gotten diagnosed with a multiple sclerosis. I instinctively knew that I needed to follow it. So thank God for that. But yeah, I really do think your emotions play a huge role in your intuition, and also suppressed emotions. So if you're like me, where you've had childhood trauma and you were taught to not have ownership of yourself, not be connected to your own body because it was somebody else's, and they taught you that because you're a little kid and you better do it what I tell you to or else, and I have the right to your body. Well, then you are raised not having ownership of your own body, having suppressed emotions around the idea that this is my body. I can be in charge of my own body as an adult, right? So those suppressed emotions then would hinder your ability to tap into a greater intuitive design that you're supposed to have. So it's working through those emotions to get to a higher intuitive ability is so crucial when you're trying to heal.
So that's been a massive part of your healing, hasn't it?
It really has, because I 100% feel when it comes down to the nitty gritty of my disease that I developed over time, it came down to passed down generational trauma. At the core of it, that is 100% where I believe my disease, my suffering came from. And then you attract like energy. So if you have not worked through that, if you haven't changed your energy, despite it not being fair, I didn't ask to be abused. I didn't ask to have the bad things happen to me. I didn't ask really for those parents. But understanding and working through that, the emotional part of that, growing your own individuality. And what's so powerful when you do this is you're not just healing yourself, you're healing all the people that pass their trauma to you. So you're healing for the other people. And you might think, well, why would I want to do that? Because you are now feeling their pain. They transferred that pain to you, and that intense emotional distress. You don't want to get out of bed. You're crying. You're scared. You have anxiety. That's not even yours. It's whoever transferred it to you. So, I know I didn't like living with that way, or living with that. So, at the end of my really getting down to my emotional traumas, there lied this abundance of compassion and forgiveness. And
I was going to say the word forgiveness was coming up for me. There's a
because I understood, gosh, that must have been painful for them. Man, that must have been really hard for them to try to raise a child when they were so broken themselves and they didn't know how to fix it. So they just transferred it. But I didn't want to continue that thread. I didn't want to transfer pain, and I didn't know what I was doing either, but I knew I wanted to be different. I knew I didn't want it to be that. And that's where we have choice. And we have this ability to break the mold, so to speak. So it's so empowering to know that in what seems like a very powerless moment of my life, that there was really this abundance of strength, and I'm saying power, but it's not power. It's just this positive energy that now
Well, I think that
fills me up.
you said compassion earlier, but that almost the compassion and I say almost gratefulness really of being of recognizing that actually you have got a choice.
I have a
Even,
choice.
you know,
Yeah.
you can take this baggage of the past and the generational stuff and carry it around with you, or you can choose to, like you say, break the mold and do something different. And
Do something
and,
different.
and
Yeah.
we can all do that. It's not saying it's easy necessarily,
No.
and it's but
Nope.
but we can all do hard things, right? Because
Yes.
we've all done hard things. Let's face it, we've all learned to walk. That wasn't easy. We've all, you know, grown up at some point. We've all learned things. We've all got over things, and we've all achieved things. All of us have achieved something. So it is possible to
Yeah.
do things that feel hard at the first place. And then, of course, once you've done them, and some things are quite hard when you get through, when you do them. And other things you do them and think, what was I moaning? Yeah, what was I even moaning about? That wasn't even that hard. That was
Yeah.
enjoyable. And it brings then to the feeling, because it's not what you do that matters, it's how you feel about what you do. So if
Yeah.
you're then feeling a bit like we were saying earlier about the tweaking language, about if you're trying to do something, I'm going to try and do something and it's really hard, then it is going to be really hard. But if you then lean into, hey, I'm going to do this thing and this is going to be exciting and I'm going to learn something new and I'm going to discover parts of me that I didn't even know existed. It's a curiosity rather than a pushing and shoving, and again, it's the energy that you bring to anything. And we can choose to do that with a tweak of language, a change in perception,
Yeah.
and even just some breaths in the moment. I'm just gonna, oh look, it's not that hard.
Yep. Just take those deep and well, and with meditation, that's such a good point. And everybody meditates differently. It doesn't have to look. I get a lot. Well, I can't meditate. Well, for me, I am not good at sitting down and meditating. I have to walk and meditate. I hear the steps, and there's actually science behind the hearing your own steps. So how many times do we have earbuds in? We're not listening to things around us. I never do. I listen to my surroundings. I'm listening to my footsteps. It puts my body in like this trance. I get some of my best ideas on my walks. Because that's my meditation. That is. And so finding your own way to meditate, to be able to get into that daydreaming type, what if
Yes.
I wrote that great book? What if I jumped out of that plane? You know, what if I did these fantastic things?
And then how would it feel like that? So I mean, the what if game is a lovely game to play, because you get the energy of like, yeah, what if I was 100% healed? What would I do with that? And you can imagine yourself, well, I'll be running around the field and I'll be jumping up and down, and I might not be physically doing that at the moment, but in my mind I can be doing that, and that just gives me the energy of, wow, this is happening, so exciting. Yeah, so it's moving, taking yourself from where you are to where you want to be, and playing the what if game is a great way of doing that. Definitely,
it's so much fun. It's I mean, and you can even like somewhat act it out. So you can, like, I have a little kiddie pool in my front yard. It's not very big. It's like 10 by 6. It's a little dinky thing, but we all get in there and we pretend we are at the beach. We pretend. So you can somewhat act some of these things out. Like right now I am in Ibiza.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
My water oasis.
And if you've got other people there to play the game with you, it's like, yeah, absolutely.
You just, and you know what, it's funny, that's what manifestation is. It's actually repeatedly going over and putting yourself in those ideas of,
Yes, and feeling what it feels like to be in that
yes,
space. Yeah,
and that helps grow intuition, because manifestation isn't that far away from your intuition, and it's like tapping into your desires, and your desires are oftentimes so going to be so strong because it is pulling you towards what you are good at. It's pulling you towards what you're meant to do in this world. So again, going with your intuition, I mean, that is your, so you're getting pulled in. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy, it doesn't mean it's going to feel right, but if there's a positivity about it, if there's a positive energy, and you go, yeah, that's exciting, I don't want to go up on that stage where everybody has to hear me, but good things are going to come, then it's meant for you.
Well, it's almost feeling, well, actually, if I go up there, how does that feel? If I don't go up there, how does that feel?
Yes.
And quite
Yeah.
often the not going up there is more, feels worse. So you're leaning toward, always leaning towards whatever feels right. And if it, and sometimes fear gets in the way, doesn't it? Fear get, oh yeah, but the last time I stood up, I forgot my words, and it was really embarrassing, and those things. So it's recognizing, okay, that's a fear, but is it something that actually is likely to happen again? No, because that would practice. So you can talk yourself out of fear, but it's also recognizing, I think, that actually when fear comes up and blocks you to where you actually, where your soul wants to go, yeah, but really, what do you want to be doing? You want to be standing on that stage. Well, I guess you want to be standing on that stage. The fact that you brought up that, so we both want to be standing on that stage.
Yes.
Not everybody's desires is to stand on the stage. I get that, but
No.
oh, who's that? Can you hear that? I don't know. Somebody's trying to phone
Yes,
me.
it's a phone.
Let me.
I think it's on
Sorry
your
about
end.
that.
It's not on my end.
I've got my phone on silence, but it's coming through my computer.
Coming into our intuition, they're like, I need to be there.
Oh, well, actually, and I suppose I'm keeping my eye on the time, because we said about half an hour's worth of talking, so the timing is good. So what would you like to leave, or what if you've got a little word of wisdom, or a little a little comment that you'd like to leave on?
I just that if you're feeling like, oh, I'm so disconnected, I don't have intuition, that's a lie. It's a lie. Don't believe it. Know that when you're in your depths, you are still here. You're still working to find a way, right? We are all looking for the light to get out of the tunnel or out of the ditch. And it takes time to develop if you're there, because I've been there. I've been at that pit where it feels like all the sand is piling up on me, and like, okay, well, I guess I don't have that. That person's so lucky that they have that. But you start digging a little bit at a time out, and then you find yourself. And your intuition is really about looking inward and finding yourself, so that, and it's not a selfish act. It's not a selfish act. It's so you can then connect with other people, like I'm connecting with you right now, Gina, or whoever watches this, how I'm touching their energy because they're going to feel the vibration of my voice, of my energy. So it's very much a connectedness, but you first have to be able to connect with yourself. So that is what I would want to leave.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. And I like the way you talked about, I used to call it my pit of despair, because that's what it felt I was in. But I could sort of, I knew there was a way out. I think always I knew there was a way out. I was never quite that far down. But sometimes the way out seems more scary than just staying where is, you get comfortable being in your misery sometimes, or certainly I did. And it's just recognizing what you said earlier is like, you've got a choice. You can choose in any moment how to feel, and you can feel differently, which brings me nicely, a nice little segue onto where we're going to leave, because I run a Feel Better Club every first and third Monday of every month. So Monday the 17th, I'll be running it again at 6 p.m. UK time, which is all around little hacks to help you feel better, to help you move that vibration up. So if you want to come and join me, message me and I'll send you the link, or come and join the Healing Vibrations Network. And Holly does similar stuff, don't you? So if you want to tell the
Yes,
people
I
about
do.
what your stuff are.
So you can reach me at my website, thehealinghall.com. At the top of the page, it has my Facebook page, my podcast, my TikTok, my Instagram. It has it all. I post a blog on my website. You can work with me. It says at the top, book online here. You click on that. Right now I'm offering basically, like, if you just want to talk about anything, because there were so many times I had nobody to talk to, that nobody understood what I was going through. Nobody could relate to what I was doing. The therapist, she's not going to answer the phone, like when I need to just talk, like
Yeah.
I had to schedule an appointment, go to that appointment. If I missed that appointment, I had to wait another week. So I'm offering a love program, and that's basically what it is. It's me loving you. It's me listening to you. It's me relating to the hardships. So I think that's an amazing offer, because I wish I had that when I was just sort of stuck in my own despair, right? And then I also work with people with autoimmunity too. I'm a researcher. I researched my way out of autoimmunity, and so I also do that. And we will research together to get you out of your despair.
Perfect.
So that's the healinghall.com.
Yeah, perfect. Absolutely. So you don't need, if you're feeling in any way stuck or in some sort of pit of despair, you don't have to be alone. There's two amazing ladies, wild women talking here, that are willing to help and certainly have conversations. So do come and talk to us. Don't sit there stuck. You don't have to. It doesn't take much. Once you start realizing and start shifting that energy, then things start moving pretty quick, don't they?
They do. And it's really about your team. It's about your team. So if you have a good team, and sometimes a good team is just somebody that has a good energy about them, because what energy you are around becomes the energy you become. So it's very much like the water experiment. Yeah. We want to be around the positive energy. That I love your feel good segment. It is so powerful and just makes you feel good.
Well, absolutely. You can just, yes. I'm always teaching people just how to, little tricks and little techniques to how to feel good in the moment. And it's possible, anyone can do it. Even if you're feeling totally rubbish, you can feel, you can feel better. It's the Feel Better Club.
And sometimes you just have to fake it till you make it, right? Yeah. You just got to okay, I don't feel good, but I'm going to go there and I'm going to learn these things. And one day I'm going to feel good.
Yeah, exactly.
You just don't give up.
No, absolutely. The only way to fail is to give up. Right. Absolutely beautiful. We'll definitely be doing this again, Holly. Not quite sure when, but our intuition will tell us it's the right time.
Oh, yes, it will.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye. Ciao.